In the spring of 2022, Mike and Natalya made a brave move to the Black Hills of South Dakota. A few months ago, I sat down with them and talked to them about their experience and what they love about their move. Hey everybody, it's Tristan Emond with Mindful Living Realty, a realtor right here in Rapid City, South Dakota, the gateway to the Black Hills. So this conversation is a little bit longer. We got talking. But I encourage you to watch the whole thing because I talk a lot about the number of activities they found to do and all the things they've loved about moving to the Black Hills.
Got it.
So my first question is to tell me your story. Why did you decide to let's move to this remote South Dakota?
Well, it started with a visit. We came from California where everything was locked down, and we needed just to get out and kind of explore and not just be so locked in. And we said, let's take a trip. Let's just take a trip. Let's see how far we can drive.
We looked on a map and we saw that we had about a little over a week. And we were looking, how far could we go? Natalya and I have both always wanted to see Mount Rushmore. So it was roughly a 20-hour drive each way. We stopped in Salt Lake City for our overnight. And when we got here, it felt like home almost immediately. It was such a beautiful place.
And we came in October, and it was the most beautiful weather. We had the most beautiful week of weather. The kids were in shorts and T-shirt, and everything was open. We were able to enjoy.
No masks, no people crossing the street when they saw other people. People were friendly. They said hi. They spoke. We knew, though, that the weather wasn't as it always was showing to be in October. So Natalya and I came back for a week by ourselves in January. And was that the first time we met Tristan? Or did we?
Yes.
Yes, I think so. And we had watched your videos. We had an elliptical machine, and
yes.
Anytime I worked out in the elliptical machine, I would watch Tristan's videos about South Dakota. And
when I started doing this, it wasn't my intention that someone would watch me on the elliptical machine. I was thinking that that's what would happen.
Well, so it was really a twofer because I needed to work out and I needed something to help me pass the time quicker, and I was able to learn about possible destinations because I watch videos about other places too, but.
And when we came out, pretty much everything that you said in your videos, we're kind of like, okay, check. And we just enjoyed our time here. When we were here with the kids, we had a blast. We did all the tourist things. We did Bear Country, we did Waikiki, we did Mount Rushmore, we hiked that mile loop with the kids.
But then we came back and we tried to do local things. The second time Natalya and I came back, sure, we were staying in a hotel, but we went to the supermarket and went mock shopping. We went to the movies. We went to a local political group and watched the superintendent of schools at the time, Dr. Lori Simon, speak about what the goal for the Rapid City schools were. So we wanted to make sure we found our religious denomination and we went there and met people. And, we really wanted to make sure that this was going to be the right place for us. Yep. Before we moved, I think I made a total of 5 trips here, just to make sure. But then I was back in February because we had put an offer in this house and we were lucky enough for it to get accepted. And, better get up there for,
the closing, signing?
Not closing, it was inspections.
Right. Yeah, and with this one, wasn't it that we initially lost the offer and then the first buyer backed out, so we got it after that? Because I think I remember calling you saying, guess what, guys?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we had seen this house online when
I saw it online.
Up.
But I think what attracted us was how nice the people were. Just everyone was just so open and welcoming, and the beauty, how clean it is. I mean, it is. And I know it's different for the locals. They say, oh, it's this and that, but we are loving how clean it is. We were selling Boy Scouts popcorn outside of a convenience store at the gas station, and I called them up. I'm like, hey, there's no bums sleeping around the corner. It doesn't smell like pee. This is paradise. But it's things like that. That's what kind of drew us here. It's being so close to the nature. You are in the middle of things. 2 days drive, you're in California. 2 more days, you're on the East Coast. It's the convenience. If you want to hike, you can hike your heart out. There's so many amazing and beautiful trails. There are so many biking trails. There's so much available. if you don't need to ever be home if you don't want to.
So when it comes to the home purchase experience, the home buying experience, what about the process, the transaction, about our services that really stood out to you? What was the one or two things you would say that was really cool?
Yeah, well, I really appreciate that you didn't let us sell ourselves short. We went to go look at a house which needed a lot of work, and it was in a nice enough area, but it wasn't everything we were looking for. And because the market was so tight, there was so few, there wasn't inventory. It would have been really easy for you to say, yeah, I think you should buy this and make a quick sale, but you told us no. And as a result, we kept looking and we ended up finding this house which checked all the boxes.
A couple other places we really appreciated that you went there and you took videos. You kind of walked us through every detail without us being able to see it. I mean, you could have glossed like so many things over, and we really appreciate the honesty and just having an opportunity to really think things through before jumping into anything. There was no pressure. I really appreciated that. Like, I appreciated the honesty and just, I don't know, just.
Well, the other great thing is the way you wrote the contract. I look back on that, and I hadn't heard of it before, but you set it up so if we had to go higher to get the house, we could have, but we ended up paying the asking price, and that's phenomenal. That was really nice because I was positive when we put the offer in that we would get the house, and I know that the people that own the house ended up just taking the first one they got. They didn't wait at all, but it still worked out. So.
And thank you for keeping open channels of communication with the seller. I think that was really nice.
Well, and it's kind of neat that you've sold the same house twice now.
Yeah, that worked out pretty good. Yeah.
But for us to be able to work with the seller, both of us, I think, needed that extra time, and we came together at a good point.
Well, you did a great job too. I think I think you were here when we had somebody come measure for the floors. I think we had some people come by to give us estimates on things, and you were able to either arrange with the prior owners or be here. And for people out of town, that's huge because it's difficult to come, fly in for a weekend for every little thing.
Yeah, it's always great for you guys to be here for the home inspection, lease-wise, get those pieces in. But yeah, then you got to go back, and life happens, and so it's pretty easy for me to be here and set those things up for you, for sure. Yeah,
definitely.
But we appreciate that extra time for you taking that time and coming out and meeting with people when we couldn't do it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So what about the house itself, the property? What is it that you love about this place?
It doesn't matter what window you look out of. You see the ponderosa pines or different types of spruce. We're in the middle of the Black Hills National Forest, and we very rarely hear anything other than ourselves. We used to live, we've owned a couple homes that were they're in the middle of neighborhoods, or they backed up to streets, or they had like a mass transit, almost like a subway nearby. So at that point in time, those homes, we got used to the noise, but it always kind of bothered us. And on top of wanting a garage and a shop, and on top of wanting a little bit of land and a certain amount of bedrooms, we also wanted peace. And this checked all the boxes.
It really has. We love the location. It's close enough to town. We're still a little bit out of town. It's amazing just to let our kids go out for a walk without worrying about somebody coming in or just having to worry about it. Just kind of the safety of the neighborhood really appealed to us. The beauty of it, the quietness, I agree with you completely. It's just been, we didn't realize how quiet it was until we couldn't hear anything. You just kind of, we were able to open our doors at night this summer and just listen to the storms rolling in rather than hearing to cars rolling by.
Yeah, we don't hear anyone's bass. We don't hear exhaust. We don't hear
except during the rally.
Tires. The rally, yeah, all things are off, I guess, during the rally. That's
yes.
true. But,
I don't think anyone's immune, but we just love how peaceful. Like we still.
And I suppose you went outside sometimes, right after the snow when it was like really, really quiet.
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it?
And you just feel like crackling like of the trees from the frost. It's amazing.
Or hearing the birds.
Yes. Watching the deer. I mean, I know they leave a lot behind, but the beauty of just having the deer out of your front window is amazing.
Yeah. And I remember when you first moved in, we had a kind of conversation, and the whole safety piece you were kind of amazed at.
Yes.
That you could let your kids walk away and not have to worry about them.
Yes.
But the thing is, we're so isolated up here. But the Pennington County Sheriff, they do a great job of patrolling Highway 44 and the neighborhoods off of it. One day we left a slider open, but we left the alarm set, and the wind blew and the curtain moved, and it set off the burglar alarm that we have. And I was in a meeting, and I kept getting these text messages on my phone, and I finally looked, and I could get a feed on the house, and I saw deputies were at the house within minutes.
Wow.
Which, when you're up Highway 44, maybe they just happen to be in the area, but still, that's a great response from a sheriff department that isn't in town.
So you've been here for a number of months now.
Coming up almost a year.
It is about,
No,
yeah,
it's-
that's what I was
well-
saying.
April. It's gonna end of April. It's gonna be a year.
Yeah, and that's what I was wondering. I was going to be close to that. So 8 months you've been here. What are your favorite things about Rapid City and the Black Hills that you've come to love?
There's a certain feeling here, I think, with the people. It's pretty laid back. I think that there's for the most part really good values. We met a lot of like-minded people, similar to ourselves, who just looking for the best they can give their children. That was a big part in us moving here. Where we came from, we felt that it just wasn't a good place to raise children, and I think our kids are getting a childhood here that they couldn't get back where we came from.
A slower way of life. I mean, it's not, one light village, but at the same time, it doesn't feel as hectic. It doesn't, I don't know, we don't feel like we have to do 500 things in one weekend to feel accomplished. We can go for a hike, and then it's just amazing. I think being so close to nature, we can go for a hike, come home, take a shower, and go out to a nice restaurant. So it just ability to balance that, where we didn't have that before. I feel like you drive 30 minutes from anywhere in Rapid, and you could have the prairie, you can have the forest, you can find a lake, you can find a tourist destination, and just having that accessibility is just amazing. Especially when you have young kids and you want to entertain, you want to do something. There's a beetle burning festival yesterday in Custer. How cool is that? You could just, we had Boy Scouts, and we could have just packed up the kids and went. So just having that availability of something constantly going on.
I mean, up until we winterized our camper, we would go camping once or twice a month.
Yep.
And our oldest is in Boy Scouts, and so we'd do a lot of tent camping too, whether it was at Medicine Mountain or some of the other campsites. We've been exploring the just different hiking trails in the area. Mm-hmm. We've been to Stockade Lake and hiked around looking at the frozen lake. Recently, we were at Pactola the other week, and we went on a little hiking trip, and one of our kids didn't put on the right shoes, so that didn't last very long. But
it's nice because there's something to do for our 13-year-old, and there's something to do for our 6-year-old. Like, there's no lack of diversity in activities. You want to do sports, you can do sports. You want to hike, you can hike. So many swimming pools, indoor swimming pools. I find it like water parks.
That's the amazing thing too, is that for Rapid City is a city of 72,000 people roughly, and there's something like 6 swimming pools open during the summer, and then during the winter you still have the Roosevelt pool, which is indoors and run by the city. The YMCA has 2 or 3 pools downtown.
If you want to splurge, you can stay in a hotel with a pool.
Yeah, there's so many hotels with water slides, and then there's Watiki. So it's kind of funny that we moved to a cold place, yet the kids are swimming all winter long. It's neat.
You know where to look, and
Yes.
you know where to find. I mean, you can find a lot of things to do. A lot of people, I think, just don't go and make the effort to go find stuff. But there's a lot of stuff that's out there, even in the fine arts department. But even all the activities. It's crazy what all you can do if you just go.
You actually have an amazing video that we took a lot of notes on, and I think we hit up most of the places that you covered in it. There's a video that you put out last year, maybe, about different things to do around Black Hills, from hiking to restaurants to kids' activities. So really appreciate that as well.
Yeah, I mean, in February we're going to. We have tickets for like one of the underground tours of like a missile silo.
Yep.
Out near Phillip, and I don't know if it'll be open or not. It looks like it will be. They never emailed me back, but there's a sod house museum, and I have a great aunt who had moved from Minnesota to North Dakota and lived in a sod house on a homestead. So it'll be kind of neat to see that. That's one thing is my family was, part of my family was originally from North Dakota, so we're going to be making trips up to Bismarck. Most people probably wouldn't get too excited about that, but I'm super excited come springtime to head up to Bismarck and see some of these places where my family used to live. A lot of the homes are still there. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
All the campgrounds. We went to a place in October. We camped, and there was also a music festival and an art show. So that was so much fun.
Yeah.
And you just parked your camper, you open up your drink of choice, and you just wander around.
Well,
Kids
Isaac's
got to run around.
How about the camps he's going to this summer at the School of Mines?
Yes. Oh my gosh, we're so excited. He's going to. So Rapid City Unified actually pays
Area schools,
I'm sorry.
or CAS.
Yep, pays for summer camps for its middle and high school students to take a class with School of Mines, and that is such an amazing.
When did this happen? Come on, I did not. My 4 kids, none of that happened for me. What's up with that?
Yeah, because we were looking at them last summer, and they're expensive camps, but if you pay attention to what they put out and you respond in a timely manner, you can get a space. And I think that kind of hits the nail on the head here is that, yes, there's growth, but we don't feel it's crowded at all. And, it's easygoing. A traffic jam here is...
4 cars.
Yeah.
Maybe 6.
Bananas, photographs. Come on!
Yes.
Get out of the way.
Yeah.
The YMCA. We're so amazed by the YMCA here. Both the camp and the facility. Actually, you get to enjoy the brand new YMCA facility and the one downtown.
I work in Box Elder, and so the Liberty Center just opened there.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And it has the 8th Mile track surrounding, a whole workout area, multiple basketball, pickleball courts, things like that. And then the second phase is supposed to be a pool. So
Nice.
We'll see if that happens. But I'd say the YMCA here is on par with high-end athletic clubs elsewhere.
Yes.
It really, it's a good deal for the money.
Yeah, we haven't been there for a long time, so we were, when the kids were little, we did some swimming, we did swimming lessons there and that kind of stuff. But, as they got a little older, we haven't been back there. But, yeah, that's pretty awesome to hear that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really neat.
They actually run a facility at my employer as well, and it's beautiful. High end, state of the art. Just love it.
Yeah, we went. Now, I'd say one. I don't know if this is a downside, but there's so many fun things to do here. You might be inclined to pick up new activities or hobbies or buy new toys. I've been infatuated with side-by-sides ever since we got here.
Yeah.
One thing that out-of-staters might be surprised about is that a side-by-side, a quad, ATV, they can be licensed as motorcycles here and driven on public roads and highways. So we rented a 6-seater side-by-side, and we took the whole family and we went up on some trails near Hill City.
Yep.
And did some really fun off-roading. But
It's cost as much as a car.
yeah, they're really pricey if you buy a brand new one. Some of the older ones are a little bit cheaper, but we have neighbors that have them and they have snowplows on the front.
Yep.
And it's going to be a good day if I'm on my way home and I check the cameras and I see a neighbor plow my driveway for me. Otherwise, I'll be out there. We have a snow blower, which really cuts down the time. It's a lot better than shovels. But we've also done the whole driveway by shovels before, and that's hard
Takes
work.
a while.
Yes. So a side by side or a quad is definitely something that I think one day down the road would be fun.
And it's a tool, so you need it.
You can justify it.
Exactly.
You need it as a
Really,
tool.
it's not so much about the ATV trails, it's I need it to shovel the driveway.
Yeah.
And then you get it for what you want.
Exactly.
That's how it works.
Yeah, but until then I can ride my riding lawnmower around. That's fun too, but not quite the same as a quad.
Doesn't quite.
Not quite the same. Doesn't go the same speed.
No.
But what else? We enjoy the variety of activities for the kids. If your kids are into soccer, there's indoor and outdoor soccer, baseball, softball, travel ball, indoor swimming, year-round swimming teams. What else the kids have done? I think that's pretty much. But there's dance.
There's
and
dance if they're interested.
gymnastics. So much to do. So much to. A lot of Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts troop. a lot of opportunity to get involved.
Well, if you're moving to a mid-sized town, that's always kind of a question is, what are we giving up or what opportunities aren't there? But when you look at Rapid City, you have higher education here, School of Mines, Black Hills State University, and then there's the things that come to their campuses. The Monument, we love going to Rush games. We've been to about 4 hockey games now. We're going to at least 2 more this season.
Yep.
But then there's everything else that comes to the Monument. There's concerts. There's our daughter's been to the theater there. The schools took her to a field trip to the symphony.
Nice.
I mean, it's pretty impressive.
And they're taking them to the Rush game too.
Nice, yeah.
So
Yeah,
cool.
they're having a special game so the kids can all go, to be all kids in the audience. And then, there's the stock show coming, and there's rodeos. We went to a rodeo out at Hart Ranch.
Yep.
That was really a lot of fun. So, if you look and you're willing to be observant, you can find so much stuff to do. And I can't say it's a little bit of a drive if you want to see pro sports, but we're over pro sports. We like minor league, amateur. Those people actually don't get paid big bucks, so they work really hard, and they're trying to make it. And I think it's a better product, better for kids to watch.
A goal for next year is to go to at least one football game, local football game.
Like Black Hills State or
Yeah.
School of Mines. Yeah.
Yep. The other one that's kind of fun to go to, if you go to a Stevens versus Central
Okay.
football
Okay.
game.
Big rivalry there.
Yeah, that's kind of fun because they also do. They also have things like a tuba race. So the tuba guys, the one from each team, each school will race, and of course they have a winner and a trophy, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of fun stuff that goes on during that time. My kids were my daughter's part of marching band, and so at that time they have both their marching bands play, and by that time, because it's usually during the end of the season, they have almost their full marching band set done. So not only do you get to watch football, which might not be a great football game, but then you also got the band to watch too, and a lot of other things kind of going on. So it's a lot of fun from that perspective.
Definitely.
Neat.
We'll have to check that out.
Definitely.
Especially as our oldest gets closer to
High school.
high school.
Right, and there's always this, the other places to look within the high schools is the one act plays and their concerts that they have put on and all those other things. You can kind of watch what they're doing and go to some of those things just to kind of, because it's kids playing, but they usually do a pretty good job
Wow.
of doing stuff. So
You went somewhere in Custer to like a theater.
Oh, that's right. There's the theater.
Is it called Black Hills Playhouse or what is it?
Do you know what it's called?
is
I
it
think.
the one in Custer State Park?
Yes.
Yes, the Black Hills Playhouse.
Oh my
Okay.
God, that was so much
Right.
fun. Not only it's a beautiful drive to get there, but the theater is amazing and the performers were fantastic.
So you went when they had nice seats and air conditioning. They didn't always have air conditioning. We've been there when it's 90 degrees, sweltering hot in the theater, and you're just like, but yeah, it's an amazing experience.
Yes.
Just because of the location and what else going
Yes.
Yeah.
We've seen some pretty interesting plays there, to say the
Yes.
least. But it's
different.
Experience.
It's an experience.
Yeah.
It's definitely an experience. My Evelyn was 9. She just turned 9, and she had a great time. Went to see Cinderella. It was a little bit of a different take on Cinderella. We had to have some conversations afterwards, but it's okay. It's good to have an open mind. But so far, we definitely have not experienced where we just sit down and we're stumped about what to do. Usually, we just can't pick what we want to do.
Yeah.
But we've been very happy with everything that we've been able to find, everything that we've been able to do, and just different. There's different restaurants, and there's so many different restaurants.
I mean, like Iron Mountain Road, just driving that. I mean, it's in a sense that's a tourist thing, but you go in the winter, and I understand the roads aren't maintained, but if you go when it's not snowing and it's been a while, if you have a 4x4, you'll be fine. And just having all the time in the world with nobody in front of you, nobody behind you to drive those curves, to stop at those panoramic viewpoints, to see the 4 presidents on Mount Rushmore, to go through the rock caves, it's just breathtaking. And only one of our kids threw up the last time, so that's
I think they're good.
It's
a win.
It's a win, and we were fairly prepared, so we were good.
So it sounds like pretty happy here, even though the weather's a lot different.
Yeah, the weather doesn't bother me at all. I think that
If you plan.
yeah, I mean,
It has
if you
to-
wear shorts outside, you get what you get. But
We have a 13-year-old, and he still goes. There's snow on the ground, and he wore a sweatshirt to school.
That's what they do.
That's what they do. So it's not. You'll get So from our limited experience, from our first 2 months, but I'm gonna say it's only been about
2 months of winter here.
A winter so far. It hasn't been bad. The roads.
Aside from the 1 week we had the blizzard and the multi double digit below zeros, but hey.
So I work out in Box Elder, and the wind out there and the snow flurries, and it'll be perfectly fine coming down the mountain. It'll be fine through Rapid City. And the minute I pass Wautiki on the interstate, everything changes. Suddenly I can't see. There's wind blowing everywhere. There's cars off the road, and but granted, that's in Box Elder. It's amazing how different the weather is between Box Elder and Rapid City, even though it's right next door.
But the road services are amazing. I mean, they go out there and they plow the roads as soon as, like, around starting at 5 a.m, so everything's nice and clean.
On 44 here?
On 44 here. They come through our neighborhood as well because we're on a school route. So we're just so thankful for that. And even in town, like, everything is just so nicely maintained after a snowstorm.
Yeah, we've learned, though, that we have to stay on top of our driveway. Even if it's just thin little snow, it's going to eventually melt, but then it's going to freeze, and then we'll have ice, and that's a lot harder to get rid of. So I think maybe getting used to, in terms of getting used to things, maybe just always having to stay on top of that. You can't let it build up.
And it's easier to shovel off the light snow than drive on snow.
Yes,
exactly,
for sure. There was a day when our snowblower ran out of gas. I'll take responsibility for that. And so we had to do the whole thing by shovel. And we had to go out multiple times that day and do the whole thing by shovel.
I think it was during that blizzard.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, as long as you prepare it, if you know winter's coming, you go out. There's so many stores here that offer amazing variety of jackets and shoes and socks and long johns for whatever budget. From, you start at Sam's Club and you can go all the way up to Shields. Just depends where you are at. But as long as you have all your outerwear and all your layers and you're prepared, it doesn't seem to be an issue if you know what's coming, right? I don't know. I just feel, you pay attention, you talk to locals, and there's a lot of good advice.
Well, it's like all of our neighbors, not all of them, but a lot of them are original owners, or they built their home up here. So they can tell us the way it is, the way it's going to be, and say, hey, you ain't seen nothing yet. And,
right. Yeah, it's always different where you're at in the certain area. Because just because it's snowing in Rapid City doesn't mean it's going to be snowing here, and vice versa. Yeah,
exactly.
It's a whole different ball game.
It really is. We'll have, we've had days where we've had snow, and then we've had hail, and then we've had rain, and then we've had wind with sunshine, all in the same day.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And
and there'll be times when it's like you go outside and the sun is shining, you go down the hill and it's cloudy as hell down there, right? That's quite a bit. Yeah.
Definitely. When I guess a frustrating aspect would be keeping cars clean. It's next to impossible.
But there's a lot of car washes.
There are a lot of car washes. It seems like every gas station has one. Then there's all the super tunnels and whatnot. But, it's I almost don't want to wash cars because as soon as I do that, they're just going to get dirty again.
I do the same thing. I'm like, you do it every once in a while just to kind of get rid of some of the winter.
Yeah.
But it's like, I just washed my car a little while ago and it's already filthy. So it's like, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. I see cars with rust on them though, and that encourages me to go get them rinsed off at least because definitely a lot of rusted out cars driving around.
And I don't know how many of those are like from Minnesota or something because they use a lot more salt on the roads than we do in South Dakota. It's because I have since we moved from Minnesota to South Dakota, we haven't had as many problems with that because I know they don't use just straight salt on their whatever mixture they use to clean up the roads. So it's not as much of a problem, but of course, that's why I like to get things cleaned up every once in a while just to do that on your carriage wash to make sure that everything underneath there gets loose-wise rinsed off a little bit.
And then as far as being prepared, we've never realized that squirrels prepare for winter by storing pine nuts or pine cones in the engine bay of your car.
Yeah, so
that was a down.
I was topping off coolant before the weather changed with some negative 30-degree stuff. Not coolant, windshield wiper fluid, because we didn't want that to freeze. We wanted to be able to
one of the other things
clean off the windshield.
Being prepared for the winter, making sure.
And I popped the hood of our truck, and I couldn't see the engine because it was completely filled with
Pine cones.
Pine cones. And it took us a good 2 hours to get them all out.
We had a couple neighbors stop by, and they're like, "Yep."
They all laughed at
yep.
us. And
Welcome to the hills of South Dakota.
Yep.
so, that just meant that the kids need to pick up the pine cones as they fall, and we need to dispose of them in one way or another, just so the little squirrels can't find them. And actually, once we started the kids doing that, we haven't seen squirrels since. It's like they've moved on to somewhere else that's an easier food supply. So.
Yep, just another part of the joy of living in the Black Hills is the animals, but then you got to deal with what all the animals do.
Yep.
So, and it's just something you got to deal with as you're learning what they do and don't do, but enjoy watching them at the same time.
Yeah.
We've gone outside and found tracks in the snow, and sometimes it's obviously a deer, but sometimes it's our dogs, and a couple times I was pretty sure it was a mountain lion. I saw a mountain lion on Highway 44 on my way into work around 6 in the morning one day. It crossed in front of us. And then some of the neighbors have picked them up like on Ring cameras. So they're definitely here.
Yeah.
We haven't seen one around the house yet, though. So maybe our dogs scare them away.
Maybe.
Cool. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate very much your candid talking with me and everything that you've shared.
And just one last thing, I really appreciate how easy you are to talk to. Your communication skills are wonderful.
That's good to hear.
Whether it's text message, a phone, or an email, you always got back to us very quickly. And it was really nice having a set of eyes, ears, and feet on the ground here. You went and checked stuff out for us when we needed you to. You sent us photos or video, and it really made it an easy move, all things considered.
We really do appreciate your videos. I think they're so informational. There's so much knowledge in them. So thank you for taking that time and putting all that information together. I mean, we can research. You can research as much as you want, but without having a person who actually lives in the area giving you those tips, you can never get that wealth of knowledge. So thank you. Thank you for spending that time.
Thank you for watching.
All right.
If you enjoyed this video, check out more testimonies just like this one in this playlist right here. Thanks so much for watching. Have an amazing day, and remember, love where you live.